Hello children, welcome to part 2 of the poem Rain on the Roof by Coach Skinny. In the second part, we will study the various poetic devices used in the poem. But before we do that, a quick recap of part 1. In the poem Rain on the Roof, the poet depicts nature and its beauty as constant elements which become inextricably woven with the events in our lives. The poet wants us to know that there is beauty in every part of nature. We just have to be sensitive to the fact. There is positivity all around us. We just have to open our minds to it. So, what are poetic devices? These are tools the poet uses to enhance the poem's meaning or intensify a mood of feeling. These infuse literal meanings, that is, what the words actually say, with figurative meanings, that is, implications, connotations, symbolism, and so on. Or you could simply say that they are used in poetry to add flavor to it. Children, there are varied poetic devices which are used by the poets in poetry. However, right now we will understand only the ones which are relevant to the poem. So here we go. The first one is alliteration, and this is one of the most commonly used poetic devices. It is a stylistic device in which a number of words having the same initial consonant sound occur close together in a series. The second one is transferred epithet. Children, epithet means an adjective. So this is the use of an adjective not with the noun which it normally qualifies, but with some other unusual noun. Over to the next poetic device, tautology. Children, when the poet puts forth the same idea in different words for the sake of emphasis, it is called tautology. The next one is onomatopoeia. When the words imitate the sounds they stand for, it's known as onomatopoeia. This poetic device is also referred to as echoism. The next poetic device is personification. When an abstract idea, inanimate object, or natural phenomenon is endowed with human attributes, the rhetorical device is called personification. So, what is a metaphor? Children, metaphor is the comparison of two unlike things. However, unlike simile, where the words of comparison are used, here words of comparison like as or like are not used. Over to the next one now, enjambment. So what is enjambment? Children, when a line runs into the other and conveys the same idea without a terminating punctuation mark or a pause, the rhetorical device is called enjambment. So what is imagery? Imagery is the use of descriptive language to enable the reader to better imagine the setting. Here the poet could draw on the 5 senses, namely taste, touch, sight, smell, or sound. And the last poetic device is hyperbole. Children, hyperbole is nothing but unreal exaggeration for the sake of emphasis. So children, let's begin our hunt for the poetic devices used in the poem. Look at these pairs of words which have been highlighted here. Humid, hover, starry, spheres, press, pillow, lie, listening. Children, do you notice that the 2 words in each pair have the same initial consonant sound? By now we know that this poetic device is called alliteration. Now children, let me direct your attention towards the phrase humid shadows. What do you think? Which poetic device has been used here? Yes, you are right. This is the use of a metaphor. Clouds have been likened to dark shadows. Now look at this expression. Darkness gently weeps. Children, What do you think the poet achieves through this? You can pause the video and find the solution yourself. Yes, you are right. The poet personifies the darkness. Weeping is a human activity and it has been associated with darkness, which is an abstract entity. In this stanza, there is one particular line which stands out. Every tinkle on the shingles. Did you hear the music in it? This game of sounds is what we know as onomatopoeia. One can hear the light sounds of the raindrops falling on the roof tiles just through the use of a similar word. The poet is in a state of complete bliss, but do you think it is possible for him to be flooded with 1,000 dreamy fancies? Not really. Here the poet uses the device of exaggeration or hyperbole. Children, do you think that somewhere in this stanza the same idea has been put forth in different words? Yes, we see it in the phrase dreamy fancies. The word dream in itself conveys the idea, but the poet repeats it using a different word. This seemingly needless form of repetition for the sake of emphasis is known as tautology. Once again, we see the use of alliteration in the fourth line into busy being start. And we also have the play of sounds once again. Yes, I'm talking about onomatopoeia. We see this in the usage of the word patter, which once again imitates the sound of the rain. In this stanza, the poet mentions his past memories and fancies, which are now starting to intermingle. The poet likens this intermingling of memories to a woof, the threads interwoven across a loom. The comparison of the woven fabric to the poet's recollections is indirect and hence is a metaphor. In the third stanza, the poet uses visual and auditory images extensively. While on one hand we see the image of the poet's mother in our mind's eye, on the other hand we can hear the music in the pitter-patter of the rain. And of course, we have alliteration once again in the first, third, and fifth lines of the stanza. In the last three lines, we see that one sentence runs on into the other without any pause or punctuation mark. This device is known as enjambment. Children, I hope that I was able to connect you to the spirit of the poem and make you identify with it. It was a pleasure bringing to you this piece of work. Until next time, wish you the very best. Thank you.